Hey everybody, it's Kevin from 3D Printed Props, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Anycubic Kobra S1 Combo. I have been having a lot of fun, as you can see, with this printer. So the Anycubic Kobra S1 Combo, I'm going to call it the S1 Combo because for some reason I can't get out Kobra S1. I keep wanting to call it something totally different. So this is the S1 Combo. And I got to tell you, as you can see by all these prints I've made, and there's actually more back behind the fake wall that I made with this, and I have really been having a blast with it. I've had it for just about 2 months because I really wanted to get a lot of prints done with this because I was really just enjoying printing with it. As you can guess, this is going to be probably a favorable review, but I just want you to know I did get sent this unit, but like all my reviews, it's my own words. Anything I find wrong with printers or I think can be improved, I will of course pass on to you and to them. And I don't have to show this video ahead of time to anybody. I can just release it. So I want to talk about this printer because I really, really like it. But what we'll do is we'll break the video down like we usually do. We will talk about the features of the printer. We'll look at some prints, and then we'll go into a pro and con. And then at the end of the video, I will have the unboxing. And there'll be chapters below, of course, so you can jump around and see how everything goes together. And let's go ahead right off the bat and look at the features that this printer comes packed with. Okay, so let's talk about the bed first. It's a 250 by 250 square, and of course this is a Core XY printer that have become very, very popular these days. I like the form factor of it. The shape of it's really nice. I like that the fact that you can put the AMS on top. Of course, it does make it so you can't lift the lid or you can't crack it if you want to get some airflow in there. Of course, you can always leave the door open. I do like being able to put it up here because it really saves me a lot of space in my shop. Okay, so let's take a look at the printer itself because this is the combo. The combo means you get the ACE Pro with the printer. Of course, you can buy each one separately. Now, so let's just take a look at the printer right off the bat. It is, of course, a Core XY structurally that have become very popular nowadays. I like the overall look of the printer, the grays, the smoked plastic. I think the plastic could be a little bit lighter. I kind of want to be able to see in there a little bit better, but maybe it's because my shop, doesn't have the best lighting available, but still a little too smoked for me, but that is trivial. And since it is enclosed, it can handle PETG, ASA, ABS, and I, of course, have also printed some PETG carbon fiber in here, and it has done really, really well. So on the front, we've got our screen. I like that it's on top. I can see it really clearly, and you can tip it back a little bit if you need to, be able to view it from different angles. And I really like that. It's sharp, it's crisp, and it's very interactive. I haven't had a problem when I'm sort of touching around the menu to get it to do what I want. And like most Core XY printers, there's a little light in there and a 480p camera to record your time lapses. It also does have built-in AI spaghetti detection, and that has worked for me on the one time that I had the support set completely wrong and it went wild and it shut off. So I thought that was pretty neat. And it is Wi-Fi capable, so you can do printing over your LAN, which I love. And of course, the other thing I really just dig about Wi-Fi is once you plug that Wi-Fi in and you run it through its self-test, before you even do the self-test actually, you can just check to see if it needs new software. You don't have to go to the web. I know a lot of printers do that now, but it's something I just really, really like. So let's talk a little bit about the ACE unit or the ACE unit. Now I've got 3 printers that have multicolor units like this, and I've got to say so far this is my favorite one. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, it has, and this is the big one, it has its own dryer. So this is a filament dryer as well. So you can put your filament in here and run it as a dryer and then print, or even better, you can put your filament in here and then tell it to dry according to whatever filament it is. And then once the drying is completed, begin the print. So sometimes I will put filament in different dryers that I have, and I get busy and I forget to go back downstairs to load the printer. Here, it will just dry it and do the print. I've done that probably 5 or 6 times. It has worked every time, and I just love that it does that. The unit can also read RFID tags that are on Anycubic filament, and that just, of course, feeds into the system and lets it know it's there. You can go ahead and add, generic filaments that aren't from Anycubic to let it know what's in there. I've done that. It works perfectly fine every single time. The other neat thing is backup, and I know other printers have this, but it's really clearly marked in here. There's a little backup switch, a little backup toggle in the LCD. And what that means is if I've got 4 in a row, or let's say 2 different filaments in there that I have set to be red PLA, or the RFID has said they are red PLA, when one goes empty, it will automatically switch to the next one, and we don't have to go in there and fiddle with anything. And I love that. And it's just a little toggle backup. So it's pretty cool. Lastly is, of course, you can swing 2 of these ACE units off of the printer for up to 8 colors. Now, I've always wanted to do that, but I need to get like another one of these to be able to do it. And I can't really justify it. But it would be fun to run that many colors. I'm curious if anybody else has done that. You can leave it in the description below. Of course, there's also a part in the back that you can add desiccant if you don't want to be drying it all the time, or you just don't want to get them too saturated with moisture. It all depends where your shops are, what part of the country you are. Right now, I'm in upstate New York. It's where I live, and it's summer in upstate New York. If you're up in this area, you'll know what I mean. It has rained for like 2 months straight, but it is also now finally gotten warm, which means 95 with 80% humidity. So even in the basement where my shop is, high levels of humidity. So I always keep this really full with desiccant and then switch it out. If you want to see the desiccating I use, it's below. It changes colors when it is saturated, and then you dry it out, and then you can reuse it. And I found it really handy. So this ACE unit, this multi-color unit, really packs a ton of features. Okay, so pros and cons. I've got a lot of pros because I really have not had an issue with this printer. I have printed, I want to say 12 rolls, 15 rolls of filament through this, and I have not had an issue with it. I think around, maybe the 20th print or 30th print or something like that, I had a little bit of a problem with bed adhesion. I just took the bed out, I washed it, and that was it. It's just because it was getting oils on it and getting sort of gooed up, but after that, it was totally fine. So, pros-wise, the speed of the printer, crazy fast. I like the screen, that it tips. The ACE works really well with it. It's got some cool features that you don't see with most ACEs, which is, of course, major one being that it is also a 4-spool filament dryer. That's fantastic. Little things that I love, like the gap in the front, so that when the bottom collects with little pieces of filament here and there, I can just sweep that right out. And I'm actually working on a little slim tray to go underneath there, so when I slide it out and push that stuff out, it doesn't just go on the floor. I like those little attentions to detail. So, all in all, pro-wise, there are quite a few. And if we take a look at the cons, they're going to be kind of nitpicky, to be perfectly honest with you. One would be, I think the plastic doors are a little too smoky for me. They're harder to see into. I kind of just want them to be clear so I can look in there really easily and see how the print's going. Again, very petty. I like that the USB is up here, but the power switch is in the back. Put the power switch on the side. Again, easier to reach, especially if you've got a print farm. How do you get back there? I've got things packed pretty tight back there so I can get as much possible in my shop. Sometimes I've got to scooch a printer over to get to the back. Again, a little petty, but little tiny things when you're making such a great printer. Of course, everybody's complaint, I can't stand when a company puts the spool in the back, but I'm curious, how many people out there, when they buy one of these combos, or they have a multi-changer unit, do you ever even use that again? The only time I've had to use this again is for one of the cons that unfortunately is for all of these types of units, these multi-color changing units, is I've been using a lot of filament from Deeplee. It's cheap and it looks great. Problem is it's those cardboard rolls, and they are kind of wobbly sometimes. And I have found that some will work totally no problem and others don't. I can't really tell which ones are going to do it or have a problem until I'm printing. So yes, every once in a while I kind of do throw some of these spools in the back. So if it was on the side, I could get to it easier. Again, to do this, I literally have to practically pull the machine out, turn it sideways and do that. I mean, you're not saving me, I'm not gonna lose a ton of space in my shop if you put this right here, like they used to be. This would be great. So that one I don't find as petty as the other ones. I think it's pretty necessary to stop putting these in the back because it just makes no sense. The other problem I have is the light inside is a little anemic, especially with the smoked plastic. It's hard to see in as it is. The light doesn't really help. And it being a 480 camera, the time lapses, they're not that great. So, put a better light in there, put a better camera in there. Maybe find some way to shave the price off because I don't want it to get more expensive, right? We want things, but we don't want it to get more expensive. But those little things would make this thing perfect. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these prints, including some prints that I've got in the back that I think will you won't believe when you see them. I printed a variety of different things from just a straight vase from like Clocksmith 3D to some of my files on 3D printed props, some Flexi Factories, just from other different creators. All their links will be below. I cannot remember all their names. I even printed some clickers and was crazy impressed with the quality of this printer, especially for the speed. We'll take a closer look at all of them in a minute. But again, really, really happy. Now, of course, what's going to happen with most printers like this, the color changing, they take forever because you're switching between filaments and there is a lot of waste. I can't stand that we're calling it poop, but I guess that's just the monk in me. And not the, monk, but like the Tony Shalhoub monk. I wish we could call it something better, but it's what it is now, I guess. I can't do anything about it. But I really was happy with the quality, the prints I'm getting with this. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. So first off, this flexible starfish, I got a kick out of this and I thought it'd be a really good test because it's pretty detailed and it's got a lot of little teeny color changes. And you can see there's really no bleeding. Everything's really tight. The color looks great. It's got a great surface to it. It's a nice weight to it. And if we take a look at the back, we can see that, it's, perfect. I didn't have to remove anything. It just totally flopped around the second it came off the plate. Now, this was a print-in-place egg box, and I love the texture you get right from the build plate. And nice smooth edges, really nice. This is using the Deeplee filament, and it was a print-in-place. You open it up, we got a clicker. Green eggs and ham. I thought I'd use green. I thought it'd be funny. But love the case. Now, this was crazy. This is the most detailed, multicolorish thing I've ever printed. It has got so many tiny little bits that change. It took forever. I think it took like 2 days and created a crazy amount of poo. But look at how nice and smooth and crisp this is. Really, really sharp. I really enjoyed printing this. And like I said, it's probably the most crazy and flexible model with that much detail I have ever multicolor printed. And again, when it came off the plate, it just moved. There was no issues to it, and the tolerances on the printer just printed it really, really well. Very happy with that model, and I'll probably give it to my niece. Now, this is the helmet from the new Thunderbolts movie. This is over on my site, 3dprintedprops.com, and look at the stitching on that. This thing is so crazy smooth. I mean, I'm going to touch it with some sandpaper and then give it a really good coating and see how it turns out. This is another one on my site, and look at just how smooth this Black Panther is. I was really just crazy impressed. And this is just using the standard slicer that comes right with the printer with nothing. I did nothing to this, changing any settings. It is just like glass. I mean, I was blown away. This is the second thing I printed, and this just amazed me. Look at how smooth this thing is. Look at that piece right there on the side. It is just, find a layer line. I was crazy impressed with how this thing came out. And last up is this Stimpy. I just had to print this when I saw it. Again, really nice and smooth. This wasn't multicolor. This was printed just variable parts. I loaded all those colors up in the multi-unit and then sent each one and chose those colors, and it came out looking great. So here is something I didn't have on the table. This is over 200 prints, 0 failures, and look at how smooth and just, I mean, they're almost perfect. I could not believe this. This is for a huge robot that I'm building. This guy is amazing. I cannot remember who it is. Oh, there it is. It's Toy Maker 3D. But look at that. I'm just so impressed with these prints. So I want to thank you for watching the video. There are links below if you're interested in picking up this printer. Also links to all the models. Again, some are mine, some are other creators, and links to the filament that I used for these. It's a fantastic printer. If you're looking for a multicolored printer, I tell you, I haven't found much wrong with it. I really enjoy it. I'd love to know how you feel about it if you have one, because I've been loving it. I've been loving using this printer, and it prints almost nonstop for me right now. So there you go, the Anycubic Kobra S1 Combo. If you liked the video, please click like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. And now, here comes the unboxing. Well, thanks for hanging out until the unboxing stage, or if you're hopping through the chapters, thanks for hopping over here. We're going to be doing the unboxing and assembly of the Anycubic Kobra S1 Combo. It is a fairly decent sized box, and it was fairly heavy, but easy enough for just one person to carry down the stairs and put up on the table. I've seen some of the videos, so I know that the AMS, or their color changing unit, is actually inside the printer itself. That's why it's not 2 boxes, and probably why the box isn't that much bigger than it is. So let's go ahead and unwrap this sucker and see what's inside. Now, this is what I love about this desk. I talk about it a lot. I mean, it was a sponsored client. It was Flexi Spot for just the one time, but I use it all the time now. I mean, if you're looking to get an electric desk, I've loved this one. You can, of course, check out any other one you want. But if you're doing something like this, even if you're doing work, like if I use this bench to work on a prop or to build a computer or something like that, I love that I can raise and lower it. So it's pretty neat. Okay, so packing-wise, I like when we see attention to details in adding things to the corners where it's going to take some impact and can break. So this is a nice hard plastic. I'm going to fight saving that for something down the line I'll never use it for and actually throw it away. First up, we have our instructions. They look good, a lot of photos, big bold text. You know, I like those just because, you know, the progressive lenses will only do so much. A few Allen wrenches on top, and then we've got our first bit of styrofoam, so we'll just take that off and throw it there, and bang, we are met right with the printer. So I'm going to pull it out of here and we'll take a look. Okay, so got it out of there. It is wrapped in plastic, which is nice, with another big piece of foam. Here there were, of course, the plastic corners on the bottom of the box as well. So let's go ahead and lift it out of here. I think I'm just going to break this foam so I can get under it. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the AMS out, which again is inside. We've got our screen up top here. I like that. It sort of folds up and down, a little piece of foam. We've got our top piece with some plastic on it and some instructions on how to unlock the ACE. I should call it what it is. It's not an AMS, it's an ACE. And let's go ahead and take that out. It looks pretty simple. Again, good instructions everywhere. We've got some foam. Just take that out. I'm going to lower the desk so I can get at this easily. Oh, this should lift right up out. And it did. Fantastic. Okay, now that we have the ACE out, we need to remove the plastic bracket that holds it into the unit for safety during shipping. So let's go ahead and get that out. It looks like, looking at the instructions, there are 4 screws. Okay, so I've taken all the screws out. I've got to say the 2 in the back were not super easy to get to, but I was able to get them out. Now we're just going to lift this piece out. Okay, the last thing we need to do as far as the heating bed goes is to unlock it by removing the 4 screws. Again, there's arrows pointing to everything, and these are fairly easy to get to. So there are 2 in the front and 1 in the back, and I'll get to that one off camera. And now that we've got those screws removed, we'll just go ahead and put that bed back in. Then we're just going to snip away this pretty hefty zip tie on the print head, extruder, remove the cardboard, and we'll just pull out this piece of foam from the poop chute, and we are ready to start attaching things like the ACE. Okay, so before we connect everything up and start running it through its paces, let's see what we get in the box here. We get that it passed its inspection. We get our little USB, of course, with hopefully some files on it. And I'm assuming, yes, this is the hub. And this is what's going to be used to connect the ACE to the unit. You can see where it can accept the 4 Bowden tubes that'll go in, and there's the connector for us. So that's that unit. We've got some more connections for power, for the ACE. Here's another power cable we've got. Here is our filament holder back. We put it in the back in case we don't want to use the AMS or we want to use it in conjunction with. We've got some screws. We've got some nozzles, cleaning nozzles. So this is going to be some replacements that probably are in the unit that clean off the nozzle. So it's nice that we get some replacements, one of those, and we'll take a closer look at those in a minute. This is some more screws. This, I'm assuming, is going to be, these are clear, and I'm assuming they go in between the Bowden tubes to space them out nice and evenly. So that's interesting. Then we've got some activated carbon for air filtering. It's like a really nice hefty pack. That's nice. We've got some lubrication, and it is not edible, so make sure you stay clear of that, kids. And then we've got a nozzle sort of cleaner. And the spool holder just goes on the back with the 2 small screws that were provided. This little tab closest to the printer, and that's of course to keep the spool from sort of probably rubbing up against the printer. That stops it right there. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is attach the hub to the back of the unit, and that just goes in with 2 screws. And the hub plugs into the closest plug to it. You really can't screw this up because it actually has 3 connection points, so it can't go in that one, it can only go in that one. And then we're going to connect the Bowden tube that's going into the printer into the hub, and it just snaps in. So before we go ahead and do the hookups, let's unwrap the ACE. That was probably loud. And you can see it's nicely packed. We've got a little latch here we slide over, lift it up. We've got some foam. We'll go ahead and take that out. And inside we've got all the tubing we're going to need and a fairly useless roll of tiny bit of filament. So we're just going to throw that in the trash. Okay, so now we can just go ahead and attach this to the printer, put it on top, and to do all the cables. Okay, so here's the back of the ACE. The first thing we're going to do is take these off. Okay, and then we just connect the tubes. 4 tubes, 4 colors. And they just pop in. And there you go.
And then we connect the other ends to the hub so they can feed the printer.
Now I don't see this in the instructions, but this is what this little piece here is for, to sort of hold everything in place nice and neatly, which I appreciate. And yeah, there we go. So it gave us 2. I'm actually gonna put another one up here. Again, why not keep, the tubes nice and neat in the back of the unit. I like that. And the last thing we're gonna do is put these little blue things back in. these little holders to make sure that the tubes don't pop out. And then we make our last connection. One goes to the AMC and it goes on the bottom one, not the top one. And then the last connection to the back of the unit goes right next to where we plugged in the hub. Okay, so the ACE is attached. Now we just have one more step before we can turn it on and run it through its self-check. Remove some of this plastic. Always very satisfying. And then we just need to go to the back of the unit, drop that door out, and then we're just going to put in the activated charcoal. And it sort of crams in there. It's very big for the space, but I guess they want to make sure the total area is covered, which makes sense. And we just push it back in. Okay, so let's now power it up and take it through its self-check. Okay, let's walk through the standard stuff. We've got English, we'll do global. It's going to scan Wi-Fi, and it came up with my Wi-Fi. And I'm going to put the code in, be right back. Okay, Wi-Fi is connected, and now it wants me to insert the disk, and then it'll run the self-check. And I haven't seen this before where you've got to insert the disk, and it's right on the side of the unit. So we hit OK, and it's going to go through its self-check. Okay, as it's going through its checks, it's about to do the resonance and input shaping. So I'm curious what the decibel level on something like that's going to be for this printer.
So it wasn't too bad. It's not like it does this all the time, but it did reach almost 80 decibels. After the input shaping, it goes through auto leveling. This was a lot quieter and maxed out at 72 to 70 decibels. And it goes pretty quick. Not this quick. This is, of course, sped up quite a bit.
Okay, so it has finished its auto leveling and everything, so we're just going to finish. And now we are ready to print. We're going to load up the ACE and do a first test print.
Okay, so before we do that, we need to load up the ACE unit, and we're just going to go ahead and open this back part up and add some desiccant, and then we're going to add our filaments, 1, 2, 3, 4. I love the colors they sent me. They look really, really cool when prints are made. And then we're going to go to the start menu, and we're going to go to the U-disc, and I think I will print this thing out because I have a bunch of cardboard spools. We're going to pick the color we want them, and you can see the interface is really nice and clear. The print came out really flat, fast, and clean. Love it.
So I want to thank you for watching the video. There are links below if you're interested in picking up this printer. Also links to all the models. Again, some are mine, some are other creators, and links to the filament that I used for these. It's a fantastic printer. If you're looking for a multicolor printer, I tell you, I haven't found much wrong with it. I really enjoy it. I'd love to know how you feel about it if you have one, because I've been loving it. I've been loving using this printer, and it prints almost nonstop for me right now. So there you go, the Anycubic Kobra S1 Combo. If you liked the video, please click like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.